Thank you very much for your testimony, Seth. Our next group of individuals testifying will be Rabbi Fora, Aaron Meechan, and Blair Stanvik.
Is it just me?
Well, it looks like at this point, Rabbi.
All right.
When you're ready, we have a couple people that are going to be remote, so we'll take your testimony first.
Awesome. Good afternoon, committee members, vice chair and chair. Buenas tardes a los miembros del comité, vicepresidente y presidente. My name is Rabbi Fora, or Forrest Alexander for the official legal record, and I'm here to speak in support of SB 599. Since the age of 17, I have experienced periods of housing instability. This lived experience inspired me to advocate for housing justice. While serving on the Human Rights Commission for the City of Austin, I lobbied for a Housing First motel model shelter. That program was eventually instituted, and while it has faced setbacks, it made some real differences in the lives of Austinites. When I moved to Portland, I was initially hired as a case manager for a similar motel program. It was in that role where I became familiar with some of the specific roadblocks faced by other folks. See, my lived experience was solely based on money, and I knew plenty of folks who had more predictable barriers, losing a job or a loved one, becoming ill for a long period of time, a landlord decides to sell without notice, an unbearable rent increase, and the like. But because of my privileges, my learning curve in this new position was just how burdensome documentation was for folks. The obvious affected population with these barriers is immigrants, a point I'll return to in a moment, but I'd like to take a moment to tell you about a client who was a citizen. He had done everything correctly according to our society. He worked a long-term job, he had savings, he only occasionally imbibed a beer at the Chinese restaurant across the street with one of the other clients. And you might be wondering, how the hell did somebody like that end up in a shelter? See, that long-term job he was working was under the table. Because of this, he didn't have Social Security credits despite being near retirement age. When COVID shut that job down, he wasn't eligible for unemployment. Without steady income, despite having savings, it started to dwindle fast. He was forced to not renew that informal lease, but he quickly found a job that on the books. He was doing well overall, and when it came time to begin a new formal lease, he found a new barrier. He was born overseas to American parents on American soil. He needed a new copy of a consulate birth certificate in order to prove his identity. I don't know how many of you have ever tried to request a consular birth certificate during a global pandemic, but I can tell you it's not as simple as filling out some forms. We did eventually house him. However, he spent a little over 2 years in the shelter program, so we spent around $30,000 to get one man, one piece of paper. This bill would not only affect immigrants, it would also affect people who have lived on the streets, lost their documents because of that experience, and are unable to prove who they are with the combination currently presented. So I strongly support you voting in favor of SB 599. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. I've got Aaron Meechan.